Late nights in Ukraine are no longer safe. Recently, Russian forces unleashed one of the most devastating aerial attacks of this war, hundreds of missiles and drones raining down on cities, families, and key infrastructure. This is massive air assault inside Russia's strike wave on Ukraine. Russia's missile and drone campaign against Ukraine is not random, it's a methodically designed system of pressure, disruption, and attrition. Each wave of attacks reflects a layered strategy intended to overwhelm defenses, exploit vulnerabilities, and erode both infrastructure and morale. This isn't just about firepower, it's about control, message, and endurance. The structure of a typical strike is now recognizable. It begins with waves of Shahed 136 or Shahed 131 drones, often launched in large numbers during the night. These Iranian-manufactured loitering munitions are slow, relatively cheap, and designed to soak up air defense resources. Ukrainian forces must respond to each drone, often using valuable ammunition or radar locks, even if the drone is targeting non-strategic areas. The goal is to exhaust Ukraine's air defense inventory early in the assault. Then come the more lethal and complex weapons. Cruise missiles, such as the Kh-101, Kh-555, and Kalibr, follow after drones have triggered Ukraine's response systems. These missiles fly low and fast, hugging the terrain to avoid radar detection and strike with high precision. While many are aimed at power substations, arms depots, or communication hubs, some hit transportation corridors or military barracks. More advanced systems have also entered the picture. Russia has occasionally deployed the hypersonic Kinzhal missile, which travels at over Mach 10 and can penetrate virtually any current missile defense system. These are typically reserved for high-value targets, command centers, hardened bunkers, or critical airfields. The Escalation short-range ballistic missile is another key weapon in Russia's arsenal. Its high speed, high-angle trajectory makes it especially hard to intercept. It has been used extensively near the front lines and in deeper strikes against strategic warehouses or infrastructure nodes. Behind the weapons is a clear tactical goal: to push Ukraine's defensive resources beyond the breaking point. By combining cheap drones with expensive missiles in unpredictable patterns, Russia forces Ukraine to make constant calculations, which threats to shoot down and which to absorb. Over time, this wears down stocks of Western-supplied interceptors and creates windows of opportunity for more devastating attacks. Psychological warfare is also embedded into this strategy. Nighttime strikes, citywide blackouts, and the sound of sirens send a message: nowhere is truly safe. Precision-guided munitions may be the headline, but the strategy is psychological attrition just as much as physical destruction. In the broader context, these strike waves are designed to erode logistical stability, especially in the lead-up to Ukrainian counteroffensives. Knocking out substations delays troop movements, disrupting railways hinders supply lines. Targeting radar sites and communication relays reduces command coordination. This is the anatomy of modern aerial warfare, not a blitz, but a calibrated, evolving campaign. Every missile launch and drone flight carries a signal to Ukraine, to NATO, and to the wider geopolitical chessboard. In recent months, the scale and frequency of Russian air assaults on Ukraine have reached unprecedented levels. The war, once defined by territorial shifts on the ground, has now increasingly taken to the skies, and not just with isolated incidents. What we're witnessing is a sustained, calculated campaign designed to wear down Ukraine's air defense infrastructure and civilian resilience. In July 2025 alone, Ukraine endured more than 6,200 drone incursions and nearly 200 missile strikes. These aren't sporadic or symbolic launches. They represent a deliberate shift in Russia's strategy, quantity as a form of quality. One of the most intense attacks occurred on the night of July 9th, when over 700 drones and cruise missiles were launched in a coordinated overnight barrage, targeting multiple cities simultaneously. Kiev, Dnipro, Odessa, and Kharkiv all faced simultaneous waves of drones and missiles that forced the country's air defenses into non-stop engagement for hours. The approach follows a chilling logic: overload, distract, and then strike deeper. Russian forces typically launch waves of Shahed drones first, slow-moving, loud, and persistent. These loitering munitions, while individually unsophisticated, are deployed in masse to trigger radar systems and draw out air defense responses. Then, once Ukraine's defenses are actively engaged, Russia follows with faster, more destructive weapons, such as Kalibr cruise missiles or Iskander ballistic missiles, slipping them into the chaos when Ukraine's interception capabilities are already under pressure. This tactic of saturation is designed not just to breach physical defenses, but to mentally exhaust the population, night after night. Sirens wail. Drones buzz overhead for hours, testing not only radar grids, but also the psychological stamina of civilians. People are forced into shelters again and again, sleep cycles are broken. Schools close, hospitals evacuate patients, and power outages become a regular part of life. Ukraine's air defense systems, many of them supplied by Western allies, are performing admirably under pressure. According to official reports, the interception rate for drones averages around 85 to 90%, and for cruise missiles, somewhere between 55 to 70%, depending on the region, but defense is not infinite. Each successful interception costs precious resources, millions of dollars in interceptors, energy, personnel, and stress, and while a single Shahed drone may cost only $20,000 to manufacture, bringing it down might cost more than 100 times that in ammunition. What this means is that the war of attrition is no longer limited to the trenches, it's unfolding in the skies, every night, across Ukraine. The frequency of these attacks isn't just a sign of escalation, it's a message. Russia is declaring that it can and will continue this aerial pressure for as long as it takes, testing the limits of both military technology and human endurance. Each Russian strike is part of a larger, deliberate system, not only to cause destruction, but to shape the battlefield, stress defenses, and send signals. These aerial operations combine layered tactics and diverse weapons with clear objectives to degrade Ukraine's defense systems, create operational chaos, and test Western resolve. At the heart of this strategy is a multi-phase strike model. It begins with mass swarms of Shahed 136 or Shahed 131 drones, typically launched in the dozens or even hundreds. These Iranian-origin loitering munitions are inexpensive, slow, and fly low. While not particularly accurate, their purpose isn't precision, it's exhaustion. They are sent to provoke early radar activation, waste expensive interceptors, and disrupt Ukrainian air defense coordination. Ukraine is forced to respond to every drone, because even one ignored drone can hit a residential building or substation. Once air defenses are preoccupied with these drones, cruise missiles follow. Russian forces often deploy Kh-101, Kh-555, or Kalibr cruise missiles. These weapons fly at low altitudes, weaving through terrain contours, and can carry high explosive or fragmentation warheads capable of devastating power plants, command centers, and bridges. Some variants are equipped with decoy systems to mislead air defense radar. In more specialized attacks, Russia has also used ballistic and hypersonic weapons. The Iskander-M, a short-range ballistic missile, has been used to hit fortified targets near the front or in deep rear positions. More concerning is the deployment of the Kinzhal missile, a hypersonic air-launched system that travels at over Mach 10. These missiles are nearly impossible to intercept with current technology and have been used to strike highly protected infrastructure and bunkers. Beyond their destructive force, the targeting logic behind these strikes is clear: strategic disruption. Electrical grids, logistics hubs, and transportation corridors are prime targets. Strikes against power plants aim to shut down communications and delay military rail shipments. Attacks on bridges are intended to complicate troop movements and humanitarian aid delivery. Each hit has ripple effects far beyond the immediate explosion. Moreover, psychological pressure is a parallel objective. By targeting urban areas late at night, the strikes instill constant fear. Sirens become routine, civilians lose sleep. The idea is to make nowhere feel safe, not in homes, not in shelters. This persistent fear wears down public morale and puts pressure on Ukrainian leadership. The weapon variety also serves another goal: testing Western systems. Every attack is data about how Patriot systems respond, how quickly Ukrainian radar reacts, how Western-supplied technology holds up under saturation, Russia learns and adapts. In short, these strikes are not chaotic, they are methodical. Russia is fighting a war of systems, and every drone, every missile, is a chess move in that evolving, high-stakes game. This has been a tactical breakdown by Wardepth, where military intelligence meets frontline clarity. For more real-time conflict insights, naval briefings, and global defense updates, subscribe now. Wardepth. No hype, just war factuals.